Alright, we're live. Welcome to episode 12 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi podcast. You have Xiao Dai again, and also Gaza. Yeah, Gaza. We got a few things to get through this week, so let's get started. First thing, the big one for me, and maybe for you as well.
It is
the North American Pro Qualification.
Absolutely. This has been 7 years. We've been waiting for 7 years for a new North American Pro.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal.
Big one. Yes.
And it's now finished. This Pro Qualification tournament.
Yep.
So keen to go through the results.
Yeah. I mean in our preview we did talk about this one player, Kevin Yang. He appeared in the was it Globus Cup? And
and also the Transatlantic League.
Correct. He did pretty well in both of these, and of course he featured. Now, just a reminder. Of course, I found this website to be really good. It's a Baduk Club website, and they have a page dedicated to this tournament. It's pretty easy to find once you get on there. But basically, what happened was there was two groups, Group A and Group B. I think it was meant to be, if I'm not wrong, 6 players each. There was meant to be 6 players. But one of the players dropped out in Group B. So that's why you see in the results there's a bye. I believe that's what happened.
Right.
Okay, so I mean what I want. I mean I didn't go through all the games because there are quite a bit. But let's just focus on the players. Like Kevin Yang, won game 1, no problems, right? And let's also look at Alexander Chi, or sometimes Alex Chi. So Kevin Yang won game, Alex Chi got a bye. Kevin Yang won a game, Alex Chi won a game. And so that's
which group is Alex Chi in? He's in
Group B. I believe Kevin Yang is Group A. Yeah. So that's why he got a bye, because he was in the group with a bye.
Right there. Okay.
Now next up, we're up to round 3 already. Kevin Yang won a game, and Alex G won a game. Oh, okay. By the way, if you see a trophy next to their name, that means they won the game, right? So that's what the iconography is. Took me a little bit to figure it out, but not too bad. So first 3 rounds, Alex and Kevin won all their games, right?
Right. So they're the two standout players, I guess.
Yeah. So round 4, same story. Kevin Yang won, Alex Chi won. I think a little bit of theme is developing. Round 5, Kevin Yang won, Alex Chi won. And
there's 5 rounds. Is there 5?
There's 5 rounds because there's meant to be 6 players each, and it's been the round robin, so that's five rounds.
Okay, so 5 rounds. So Kevin Yang obviously finished first in Group A. Alex Chi finished first in Group B.
Correct.
But it's the top 2 players that go through to the knockout, through to the next stage, right? The top 2 players in each group.
Correct. So basically, that's what they call the semi-final. Now it happens that I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's maybe Remy Kapakni.
Yeah, this was the guy that I mentioned in last week's podcast as one of my picks, simply because I think he was the only one that I'd heard of before.
Yeah, I believe he appeared in the Transatlantic League or something like that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
He must have finished second in Group B.
Right. Yeah. So that's why he's playing Kevin Yang. And Eric Yoda, I've also not heard of him before.
Yoda.
Yoda. Yeah.
So Remy was playing Kevin and Eric was playing Alex.
And now, and I believe in the semifinals, was it not a best of 3? Okay, looks like it's not.
So what happened is the first semi-final match was a single game, but it wasn't an elimination game.
Right.
So the semi-final match determined who went into the winners bracket and who went into the losers bracket.
Right.
And then the 2 players in the So Kevin Yang and Alex Chi won the semi-final games.
Yep.
So they went into the winners bracket, and the winners bracket was a best of 3.
Yep.
And that was to determine the first pro.
Yep.
And the losers bracket was also a best of 3, and the loser of the losers bracket was eliminated.
Yep, that's right. So, again, the theme continues. Kevin Yang and Alex Chi won, as you mentioned. So they now play each other. So basically, 2 players have won all their games, now face off in the final, what they call the final, which is a best of 3. And basically, whoever wins this best of 3 becomes the first pro. So what happened in game 1? Alex Chi beat Kevin Yang. Oh no, Kevin Yang beat Alex.
No, Kevin Yang actually won game 1.
Yep.
But Alex Chi won game 2. So this was game 1 and game 2. This was the first games that each of them lost in the entire tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty even. Now just apart from the games between Alex and Kevin, Eric and Rami also played games because they were the loser from the semi-final, and the winner of their best of 3s gets to remain and have a chance to challenge the loser between Alex Chi and Kevin.
The winner of the losers bracket would go into the match for the second pro spot.
Yeah. So, and then in game 3, Kevin Yang beat Alex. So, congratulations, Kevin becomes the first pro from this NA qualification tournament. Yay!
Yeah. So I wanted to give a little bit of a little bit more backstory to Kevin Yang, since he's the first NA pro in 7 years. Yep. So apparently he lives in Los Angeles.
Yep.
And he's 15 years old.
Yep.
And he learned Go at the age of 9. So he's played, I guess, for 6 years.
Yep.
And he studied with Yilun Yang, 7 dan, and Han Han, 5 dan. I think they're both Chinese professionals.
Yep.
Yeah. So, only 15 years old. Very impressive. And as we've discussed before, he's already had some quite significant accomplishments, both in the Transatlantic League and in the Globus Cup.
Yes.
So, still, huge amount of potential for Kevin Yang. And it'll be interesting to see just, how high his ceiling is.
Yeah, definitely very, very talented player. So, after Kevin Yang becomes a first pro, I mean the game between Eric and Remy continue, and it looks like Eric came out on top with 2.
Yeah, so it was they split the first 2 games.
Yep.
And then the third game was a really crazy game. It involved a broken ladder.
Right. Shall we have a quick look?
I'm not. Yeah. If you can have a quick look, and it's at about move 90 or so.
Yep.
There's an AI Sensei link, so
I'll click on that. Move.
Yeah, 90. But I think that the AI Sensei, because it's a broken ladder, I don't think the AI Sensei is good at evaluating the position.
Okay, so let's see what happened. Now, honestly, I haven't used this AI Sensei very much. I'm not even sure how to turn off the eval, but let's see. So this is
I don't know how to turn it
off. So this is what happened. So I think Atari happened, and obviously the ladder would work for white, right? So since it works for white, and white decides to run anyway, so I guess that's what they were referring to. Okay, so let's keep looking at this. I really want to see how I can turn this thing off. Show mood never. Okay, cool. All right. How do I not display it? It doesn't have a thing. Okay, when I just turn off the emojis, Um, all right, I give up. Let's just go. So Atari runs, and at this point, black runs over here. Atari runs. Oops. Atari. White connects. Okay, keep running. Okay. What's happened here? Atari. So now there's a double Atari, so black takes. Oh wow, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I think white actually captures that black black actually captures that white dumpling in the middle there.
Right. I don't think so. You mean this one? Yeah, these ones.
Yeah, that one.
That's. I guess that's. Obviously, at this as of now, it's not captured, but it might as well be. It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty hurt, at least. Okay, so at this point, AI likes black a lot more. And
one thing with broken ladders
yeah,
is that because there's so many moves in the
yeah,
sequence,
yeah,
um, the AI, especially one that hasn't played out a super amount of playouts,
right,
will often evaluate in this case, black, the one playing the ones doing the surrounding,
yeah,
as behind, and then all of a sudden, like halfway through the ladder, it'll say that black's ahead,
right,
unless of course the broken ladder doesn't work.
yeah. That's
Um,
very interesting, yeah, because it's very drastic at this point. It turns around. Um, um, yeah, so very interesting way for black to play. Um, yeah, that's definitely very interesting.
yeah, when I do it with my Cardigo, it's at move 101.
Right.
It initially had black at 8%, and then after move 101, which is a move by black, by the way,
Yeah.
it suddenly says, "Oh, black's now much better."
Yeah.
Usually, usually an AI, when it'll play a move, it won't say that it'll either say that the evaluation is the same or that it's reduced, because the person playing the move can't increase their winning chances by playing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's just because, well, when I play the AI, I didn't play it out long enough
Right.
for it to see that move 101 was working.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that often happens
Yeah. But
with very long winning sequences. So yeah, it looks like this broken ladder works out really well for black.
yeah.
Yeah, so, and it really is a brilliant tactic,
Yeah.
because when you play out a ladder, if
Yeah.
it doesn't work, all of the stones on the outside of the ladder
Yeah.
are extremely weak and can be double Atari'd
Yeah.
very easily. So, yeah, so all of those black stones, there's like 10 black stones
Yeah.
that can be killed with double Ataris.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, none of those white stones in the ladder are dead. They're
Yeah.
all alive.
Yeah.
So black has just got an incredible amount of weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so the only reason to play out a broken ladder is if it, it gets you more points elsewhere.
Right.
And of course, Lee Sedong played perhaps the most famous broken ladder.
That's right.
I think in 2001 or something like that, like about 20 years ago.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just really, really rare.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's really impressive by Eric Yoda here to play this broken ladder, especially this was game 3 of the knockout match. So if he lost this game, he would have been eliminated. That would have been his pro chances gone for this tournament.
Yep.
So yeah, really super impressed. Like this probably should be game of the year candidate.
Yeah. Or at least move for the year. I mean, even think about that would be, it's quite crazy.
Yeah,
I think he's already seen it when he played the Atari, but I suspect maybe White didn't. I just wonder if this black move is inevitable. So like when you play here, obviously if White Atari's on this side, then this is cleanly captured. So that's probably not great for White. So White Atari, and then he runs again. So obviously White have no choice but to Atari, because obviously White can't connect, right? The same thing that gets captured. So, and then this, is this inevitable, the connect, or does White have better moves? Not sure. Maybe it's inevitable. So
I think that move 100 may have actually been the wrong move, the mistake.
right. So at this point, should just
So
take
I
for
think
something.
here White can instead play somewhere in the top left,
Top left.
maybe at G16.
G16.
I'm not sure.
Um. Yeah. Okay.
Not for Black, but for White. So yeah,
Like that.
yeah, after move 99, yeah.
Oh, not. Yeah. I don't know how that works. To be honest.
I'm just thinking that maybe that move,
Yeah.
um, if no, if White plays G16, then Black has to capture the three stones in the bottom right. I don't think that the broken ladder works anymore.
Play here. G16.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that right?
Wait, let me.
What happens then?
So what do you say?
Uh,
Like say White plays J16 or something, Black plays J16 or something like that. Now in
J16.
response,
Yeah.
like where do you think Black would play? Yeah, and
Okay.
now I think and now I think White can play M5. Yeah,
So um so yeah, because then what? Jump out?
well I think it's a lot more tricky now.
Alright, I see. Right, okay, it's not.
No, that may not. No, that may still fail. Actually,
Yeah, no. So it's a tricky position, but uh
no, I think that. No, I think that's. No, I think I don't think G16 works
alright.
actually.
Okay, so yeah, so this is what's happening. I mean, even for Black to think about this, that's quite remarkable. So yeah, that's a good one. Um, okay, so after the game, so what that means is Eric now earned a chance to play Alex for the second pro spot, right?
Yeah, and this was a best of three as
Best of
well.
three, and f- uh, unfortunately for Eric, even after that broken ladder game, he got beat by Alex 2-0. So what that means is Alex becomes the second pro, and
Right. So just a
congrats.
bit. I just want to give a bit of backstory to Alex then, since
Yeah,
he's the second pro.
yeah,
So we said Kevin Yang is 15 years old. Alex is actually only 14.
right.
Um, like Kevin, he started playing Go 6 years ago.
Yep,
And he's got some pretty notable teachers. Feng Yun, Nine Dan,
yep.
Zongfan Jian. Do you know who that is?
Zhong Fan no.
Uh, let me see if I can find him. No, I don't. I don't know who that is. But also Ryan Lee is one of his teachers.
Nice.
And he also apparently represented the US in the World Youth Go Championship in 2019.
Very nice.
Yeah, so obviously, bit of a prodigy as well.
Yep, for
Um,
sure.
And yeah, I hadn't heard of. I must admit I hadn't heard his name before this tournament. I don't really follow North American youth go. Um, one because I guess there's not that many tournaments, and two because those North America is a different time zone, so it is hard to follow the games.
Yeah, sure.
And also, one other thing that I don't really frequent the US Go website. It's not it's not the it's not the best website, I would say,
Yeah,
for following pro news. I mean, yeah, it's they at least have a website, but
yeah. Well, yeah.
it's not one that I follow regularly.
No, no. Um, I mean, understandable, but yeah. So, uh, well, thanks, Gaza, for the background news. But basically, yes,
But as you were saying, yeah, big congratulations to Kevin Young and Alexander Chi. Like, not only it's been as we said, it's been 7 years since the last North American pros,
yeah,
and I think these two have two very special talents.
right,
Um, and yeah, they're only 14 and 15, so they're still they've still got a long career ahead of them, and
yeah,
I really would be keen to see them in some of the Chinese leagues, like the
yeah,
Bing League.
yeah,
Um, I think that those two especially would really benefit from playing young Chinese pros.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
just my opinion. Yeah, but I think that the more games they can play against some of the Asian professionals, the better.
yeah. And let's hope that North America puts together a team for the leagues. Um, but
Yeah, let's hope, and let's hope that they continue to have pro qualification
yeah,
tournaments. I think that they could do two a year for the next few years,
yeah,
and still produce extremely capable professionals.
yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope they have a huge pipeline coming up, and somehow at some point be able to challenge the top pros in the world. Um,
Yeah,
okay, so that's a wrap for the North American Pro Qualification Tournament, and
yeah,
let's move on to the next topic, which is the YK Construction Cup, which is kind of hitting the business end of the league. So
yeah. We're nearly fit. We're in the. I think we're in the third last and second last round.
right,
Was happened. I think in over the last 2 weeks, because I don't know if we discussed it last week. Maybe we did.
yeah. Okay. One thing that struck me is that some of the games now in the league, because it's kind of towards the end, some of the games are a bit inconsequential and they don't even show it on the Baduk TV anymore. They just skip it.
Yeah. Some of the games. Yeah, some of the games weren't broadcast.
No, yeah,
But there were definitely some very important games.
yeah, for
Um,
sure. Yeah,
there were two Shin Jinseo games.
yep,
So the first one that he played was against Kang Dongyun,
yep,
and that was obviously a big one because Kang Dongyun was undefeated. He was 6 out of 6.
yep,
Shin Jinseo was 4-2.
yep,
Um, and Shin Jinseo, it was a must-win game for him,
yep,
and he did win the game. It was there wasn't really anything notable about it that I can recall.
yeah. I just
Um,
I just recall that Kang just lost. I started the co at a time that the AI didn't really like, and it basically I believe he lost the co. Um, uh, yeah, but I think the game was pretty even for a long time. But then for some reason, Kang as white over here decides to activate this code on the top right hand side corner, and
mm,
AI just didn't like his timing for starting this code. I mean, this whole sequence is very clever, by White. Just to set up a code like this. But AI didn't like the timing of it. I think AI wanted potentially White to create more code threads, like by playing down here, to play some probes down here to create more code threads potentially. But it's, basically Jinsol ended up winning the code, and Kang has to kind of like threaten some of these black groups to try and win. And I think by the end it got pretty desperate. Like black just jumps out, and White try to have to kill basically, and ended up not being able to kill it, and so that's how Kang ended up losing. But I guess it's a very technical kind of analysis when to start the code. Even a pro couldn't really exactly get that right, so it's a very tricky position, I'd say. So, and it ended up being that just White's got too many cut points and basically can't really rescue even itself. So so White is putting pressure on this black group, and White has to win this code to have a chance of killing this black group. But obviously White has a weakness here, so all black has to do is just play here and they can capture the White group. So White either have to save this group or fight this code. Can't do both. So which means that this black group is pretty much alive. So Kang just couldn't really.
Black being Shin Jinseo, by the way.
Yeah, black is Shin Jinseo. So I do. That's what I remember from the game. But it was really interesting game. Okay, so Shin Jinseo gave Kang his first loss, but remember, at the top of the table, basically there's Kang, there's Park Junghwan with 1 loss, Shin Jinseo with 2 losses, and Myounghoon also on 2 losses.
Yes. So
it's like a 4-horse race.
And all of them have now played. I think they've all now played 7. Oh, Kim Myounghoon has only played 6 games, so he has to play. Yeah, the next game was Kim Myounghoon versus Kim Sedong to end round 7.
Yeah. So the 2 Kims play each other, and Kim Myounghoon, given his recent good form, and he seems to be appearing in all the competitions, he beat Kim Sedong, and so that means Kim Myounghoon is really putting the pressure on Kang, Park Junghwan, and Shin Jinseo, because he's on a 5-2 record, same as Shin Jinseo. So
now it's it's a 4-horse race, and remember that the Weiqi Construction Cup isn't about who wins the league; it's about the top 2 finishes.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-horse race for the top 2 spots.
Yeah. So very very tight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very tight. So Kang Dongyun is 6 wins. So if he wins if Park Junghwan and Kang Dongyun, if they win their last 2 games, they're guaranteed to finish top 2.
Yep.
Kim Myounghoon, his last 2 games, one of them is against Park Junghwan.
Yep.
So if he wins that and he wins his other game, he'll finish on 7 wins, but Park Junghwan will only be on 7 wins maximum as well.
Right.
And Shin Jinseo will also be on a maximum of 7 wins, and Kim Myounghoon would have the tiebreak over both, since he would have beaten both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So Kim Myounghoon can also basically determine his fate. He can finish top 2 just by winning the rest of his games.
Yeah. And
Shin Jinseo is the only one who isn't guaranteed a top 2 finish, even if he wins all of his games.
Right.
Because as I said, he does have to play Park Junghwan. So if he wins that, he can finish above Park Junghwan, but he can't guarantee finishing above Kang Dongyun or Kim Myounghoon.
Right. Yep.
Because Kang Dongyun only has 1 loss.
Yep.
And Kim Myounghoon also has 2 losses, but has the tiebreak over Shin Jinseo.
Yep.
So Shin Jinseo does need a little bit of fortune.
Yep. It kind of is a little bit of a surprise that Shin Jinseo in a league format is at risk of not being able to finish top 2. And I think one of the main reasons is because he lost in the first round to Lee Jit-hoon, which is, as you can see, isn't doing particularly great in this league because he's got like a 2-5 record so far.
Yes, he's only beaten Kim Yoon-ji and Shin Jinseo.
Yep. So he's been the top player and the bottom player. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
been
but um, yeah, it's really hard to say what how much I would give Shin Jinseo chances. I would say he probably is a 50% chance of making top two.
right. Yep.
But it really comes down to two. There are two crucial games remaining.
Right.
One is Kim Myounghoon versus Park Junghwan, and the other one is Shin Jinseo versus Park Junghwan.
Yep.
They're the two crucial games remaining. Kang Dongyun is just has to play Kim Sedong and Lee Ji-hyun. He
Yep.
should win both of those.
Right.
So Kang Dongyun should finish in the top two. It's not guaranteed, but he should finish. I think he does need to win both though.
Right. To basically
So
guarantee
yeah,
it,
no
yeah.
no one currently no one is guaranteed a top two spot.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So that's quite tricky. So let's move on to the next game, which is, as you mentioned, another Shin Jinseo game.
Yeah,
time
so
Shin
this is
Jinseo
this is
played.
the first game of round eight. Sorry,
Right.
and
Yep.
so this is Shin Jinseo versus Han Woojin, the wild card.
Wild card. Now, okay, what actually surprised me is that Han Woojin's record in this league is actually half decent. He's won 50%.
Yeah, he'd actually won 4 of his first 7 games.
Right.
So, and I think people were. I was predicting maybe he would win 2 games,
Right.
possibly 3, but he's already won 4.
Yep.
It's quite good, and it is quite impressive, considering the level of competition that he's
Yeah.
playing here. These are some quite all of these are quite strong players.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think he's beaten any of like the superstars.
Right.
He beat Kim Yoon-ji, Lee Ji-hyun, Ryu Min-hyung, and well, he did beat Won Song-jin.
Yep.
That's probably his biggest scalp.
Yeah.
But to beat all of those guys is quite impressive. Like it shows a level of consistency that he can regularly beat players around that level.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's still very young. I believe he was born in 2005.
I don't think that's true.
Oh.
I don't think he was born in 2005.
Was he not?
I'll try and look it up.
Maybe after 2005. Not sure.
No, I don't think so. Let me I'm gonna try and find him. He is a 3-dan, right?
Yeah. So let's have a look.
Okay, where is?
But he should be pretty young anyway. While you're looking for that, let me just scroll to the next. Let me just look at some pics.
Actually, he could be a 4-dan now.
Right.
Oh, I don't know his Hangul, but I will find him.
Yeah, let's find out. Let's find out. I mean, my vague memory of him is that he was talked about as a born post 2005 person. So I assume he's after that. Yeah.
Sorry, so the KBA website has actually been down for a couple of weeks.
Right. You have to go to the mobile version. Myounghoon.
Are you right?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to go to the mobile version of the website. So what we've got after the Shin Jinseo game, while you're looking for the
You're
info,
cutting out quite regularly.
Oh, it could just be my internet. All right. Yep. Now, while Gaza is looking for the info, and I believe there's some internet issues, I am going to just briefly mention these two games. So this is the Weiqi Construction Cup game 38. Oh, I guess 37 and 38. Lee Ji-hyun and Kim Yoon-ji versus Kim Yoon-ji. Lee Ji-hyun won that, so Kim Yoon-ji couldn't win one game, not even one game. And we got Won Sunjin losing to Yuri Myounghoon, so Won just can't really perform in this league for some reason.
We'll be back shortly.
Hey Gaza, we're back.
Hello.
We're back. So
Okay.
I believe the issue is only with the internet. So I have just been talking about these two games.
We'll try. We may need to edit that because that was about 2 minutes of not hearing you.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So Gaza, we're back. So I wonder where you left off. What did you not hear from me?
We're talking about how old Han Woojin is.
Yes.
So I did check, and you are right. He is born in 2005. I didn't know that. I actually thought he was 20 years old, but it turns out he's only 17.
Yeah, so he's rising star. I mean, I recall that because I listened to a podcast and he was mentioned as a born post 2005. That sometimes means he's born in 2005. But anyway, that's the Han Woojin. So he's done pretty well, being like 17 and being in a league, and even though he got a wild card to get into the league, he still performed reasonably well, like half. He got 50%. So I was talking about these two games, which I thought were a bit inconsequential because I've already went through them. They are mostly between players that are lower down the league table, so they probably don't determine anything. But I guess what it does show is that the bottom two players just can't seem to get a win in the league. So that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, bottom two players being Won Sunjin and Kim Yoon-ji.
Yeah. So okay, so guys, I do want to add in a rumor. I know you love my rumors. I know you do deep down inside. You just sometimes don't know it. Okay, this is a rumor. This is a pretty big one. So apparently the rumor is Jinsol was not happy about Kim Yoon-ji's inclusion in the league, in the Weiqi Construction League. He thinks that Kim Yoon-ji is basically too far off in terms of her strength from the rest of the group, and that he would probably have preferred someone like Choi John join the league as a wild card instead of Kim Yoon-ji. Now, this is a pretty big, I would say, a big question mark around it in terms of a rumor.
It most definitely sounds like a rumor.
Yes, I mean it's really big. It's kind of like this rumor came from a podcast that I listened to in Chinese. Now, and it's by one of the most senior Weiqi reporters in China. But even he said that he couldn't confirm this. Like, basically, no one wanted to go on record to say that's exactly what Jinseo has said. So this could just be some kind of hearsay, made up stuff. Or
I think we should go on record and say that this is a rumor that we ourselves cannot confirm.
No, that's right.
We certainly don't want to. I guess it's fine to discuss gossip.
Yeah.
So long as we make it clear that it is gossip and it's not something that we verified as truthful, because obviously these are professionals and these are real people, and any sort of organization like this is probably a pretty close community.
Yeah.
And I would say that if Shin, it's hard to imagine that even if Shin Jinseo did say this, that it would somehow get to outside the KBA.
Right, yeah.
Because yeah.
Okay, I mean it's obviously even the guy who talked about it on his podcast flat out said he couldn't find anyone to confirm it, right? So therefore, I mean, it could just be nothing. And
yeah, I will also say it does seem like a bit of a strange thing for Shin Jinseo to even care about.
Yeah,
as this is just.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a fairly, like, in terms of prize money, it is a fairly notable tournament. I think first prize is 50 million won.
Right. Yeah.
Which is it's the same as the Nongshim Cup.
Yeah.
But
let's not dwell too much on this. Like it could even
Good
be,
point.
yeah, it could even be just that, they were just talking and there was like an offhand remark, that just people just picked up
Yeah,
on. It
yeah,
could
yeah.
have been
Possible that
anything.
Jinseo was just a little bit
Yeah,
surprised that Kim
yeah,
Yoon-ji was chosen, but I do believe that the two wildcards were intentionally chosen to be youth players.
yep,
I believe that it wasn't intentionally chosen to be Kim Yoon-ji, but it was intentionally going to be two youth players. So I
yeah,
think there were really only four candidates considered. I think Moon Min Jung was one of the candidates considered,
right,
and someone else. I think. I
yeah,
don't. Yeah, I got the impression when I read the article that there was never any intention that the wild card would be a senior player
right,
like Shui Jong. It was
yeah,
always going to be a junior player. But
yeah. Which which
um,
is which is not a bad move to give them more exposure, but yeah,
yeah, yeah, and I think like it's a good idea, especially there's so few leagues
yeah,
in Korea that um, to give two youth players an opportunity to play,
yeah,
9 games
yeah,
against top level players is something that I think especially Kim Yoon Ji will benefit from.
yeah. Absolutely. So that basically finishes of all the games that's been played this week in the Weiqi Construction League. As you can see, the 4-horse race is very, very close. Anything can happen. So let's just keep watching this space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just quickly check the calendar because I do want to find out when the next big game is definitely going to be Park Junghwan versus Kim Myounghoon.
Yep.
Let me just find when that is. It turns out it's going to be on Monday.
Monday. Yep.
So
Okay.
we will definitely report on that in the next podcast.
Yep.
And the Jinseo, I believe the Jinseo Park Chun-wan match, that is going to be the final league game. I'm sure that was intentional.
Right.
That the top two players in Korea will play the final league game.
Right.
And that will be on the 12th. So that's not going to be next week.
Yep.
So we'll report that in the following podcast.
Yeah. So YK Construction League to come.
This has been a thrilling competition. I mean, I think it's going to go right down to the final game to determine who the top two players are.
Yep. Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Fantastic.
Also, one other thing. So Kim Young-hoon actually last week got promoted to 9-dan.
Oh, nice.
So I think his win against Kim Sedong was his first win as a 9-dan.
Very nice. I believe he got promoted to 9-dan together with Lee Won-do, which have appeared on his podcast.
Yeah, Lee Won-do was one of the reserve players for Team Celtrion in the Korean Baduk League.
Yep.
He also got promoted to 9-dan at the same time as Kim Young-hoon.
Yep.
So 2 new Korean 9-dans.
Yay, let's clap. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, which is, we're going to another continent again, Gaza. European pros playing North American pros and amateurs in the second Transatlantic League. Of course, we discussed the group stage last week. And
yes,
on to
which
the
means
knockout.
So what's happened since then?
I can't recall if we have discussed the quarterfinals. Which
we
is
discussed when we discussed in the last podcast. The group stages had just finished, and the quarterfinal matchups had been determined, but they hadn't been played yet.
Yep. So in the first quarterfinal matchup, Ilya Shikshin versus Brady Zhang. Ilya won that one 2-0. And I believe Brady isn't in the North American Pro qualification tournament. So
no, he definitely was not in the tournament.
So but he still made it out of the group. So that's he didn't. Well, I mean, he came second in one of the groups. In the group.
He actually came third on tie breaks.
He came third on tie breaks. Right. So the third place. And Ilya Shikshin, that's right. Ilya Shikshin actually came second. despite only scoring 2. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but it's still a great achievement by Brady Zhang. He's not a pro,
yeah,
and he beat a couple of European pros. I think he actually beat 2 of them.
yep, yeah, he's got a score of 2, so that means he's won 2 matchups and lost 2.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
still very
So
good.
yeah, very good achievement.
Yep,
And Ilya Shikshin is obviously the best player in Europe.
yep,
So that probably went as expected, but yeah, Brady Zhang can hold his head high.
yep, sure. And then in the other quarterfinals, so called, it's Ali Jabarin versus Artem Kachanovskyi,
Yep.
and Artem won that 2-1.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that means Ilya and Artem move on to the semifinals, and waiting for them in the semifinals were the group winners: Ryan Lee, 3 Dan, and Kevin Yang, 7 Dan amateur. But of
Well,
course now, yep,
actually, Kevin Yang is no longer a 7-dan amateur.
yeah, he's a 1 Dan professional now.
I have to admit, I've never seen a case before
Yep,
of a player
yep,
turning pro halfway through a tournament.
right, yeah,
There have been cases, obviously, of players getting promoted upper rank
yep,
halfway through a tournament. For instance, Kim Myounghoon
yep,
just got promoted from 8 dan to 9 dan
yep,
halfway through the Weiqi Construction Cup.
yep.
But I don't know. I can't think of an example of a player turning pro halfway through a tournament. It
No,
may have happened.
yeah, may have
If
happened.
it has happened and you know about it, please let us know. But I've
Yeah,
never seen that before. That's quite curious, don't you think?
yeah. Well, it is. I mean, I believe in other pro confederations, maybe the pro qualification tournament don't run concurrent to any other competitions. That would kind of make sense to me. So maybe that's why it's never happened. But I do believe in Korea. I'm not sure about Japan, but they used to have a rule that where if you can win a certain percentage of games, or win a certain number of games versus pros, then you can apply to become pro. I wonder if during a tournament, an amateur has actually achieved that the required number of wins and they were still in the tournament, and therefore they could turn pro. I wonder if that's happened before, but I'm not sure. Hoping that someone in the comments can illuminate us on that kind of topic.
Yeah, and what happens if it's an amateur only tournament and they turn pro during it?
Oh, that would be very funny. They have to quit right away. Not sure. Not sure.
But yeah, but in any case, I think you know, Kevin Yang versus Artem Kachanovsky obviously is a rematch of their, they were both in Group B,
Right.
and Artem was the only person
Popped
who
off.
defeated
He does.
Kevin Yang,
He does.
albeit
Oh.
it was you could argue it was more a case of Kevin getting way too greedy,
Right. Yeah.
and losing the game rather than Artem winning it. But
Yeah.
credit where credit is due, Artem did win a game.
Yeah.
But I think the semi-final I'm definitely looking forward to
Yeah.
is Ryan Lee versus Ilya Shikshin. Right, Ryan Lee is, you have to say he's the best player in North America,
Right. Yeah.
and Ilya Shikshin is undoubtedly the best player in Europe.
Yeah.
So to see the two of them match up is always worth watching.
Yeah. 100%.
It's always good. It's like a transatlantic version of Shin Jinseo versus Kerje.
Yeah. That is a bit like that.
Yeah, so that's. I believe maybe Ryan Lee beat Ilya Shikshin in the last Transatlantic Cup.
I think that's what happened. Yep.
So this, I guess maybe this is sort of a rematch.
Yeah.
Albeit it's a semi-final, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's still gonna be awesome. It would be very interesting to see a Ryan Lee versus Kevin Yang final though as well.
I must say that's the one I'm hoping for.
Right.
Simply because Kevin Yang has already played Ilya Shikshin
Right. Yeah.
and beat him. I want to see him play Ryan Lee.
Yes.
I really want to see how he measures up against Ryan Lee.
Yeah. So yeah, and the games literally could be happening just in a few hours. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely be reporting on it next podcast.
Yeah, 100%. So okay, so that wraps up the second Transatlantic League, and we're gonna go into a GX Caltex Cup. What's happened there?
Okay, so GX Caltex Cup. I believe that we did mention this last week, I think, and
Yeah.
I think we were up to the quarterfinals.
Yes.
So let me see.
Obviously one of the big games that happened this week in GS Caltex Cup was Park Junghwan versus Kim Myounghoon in the, I believe this is the quarterfinal.
That would have been the
Let me
first
see.
quarterfinal.
Yes, that's the quarterfinal. Park Junghwan versus Kim Myounghoon. Of course, they're yet to play each other, I believe, in the Weiqi
Yeah, so
Construction
that
League.
happened on
I have it here on screen.
Thursday? Was it Thursday?
Yeah, it's the 30th of
Yes.
June. Yep.
Yes, it happened on Thursday. So this was the first quarterfinal. And the interesting thing is, as we said, Park Junghwan and Kim Myounghoon will be playing soon in the YK Construction Cup.
Yes.
But before that, they were playing each other in the GS Caltex Cup. And this is in the GS Caltex Cup. All the games before the final are elimination games.
Right.
So if you lose this, you're out.
Yeah.
And this was quite a game for those that watched it.
Yes. It was quite crazy. It was let's look at the stats here. Reversal percentage 100%. Do you know what that means?
That means that the one player was dead lost, and they brought it back from the dead to win.
To win. So that's quite crazy.
And that usually means.
Well, what does that mean?
That usually means that the other player made a really big mistake somewhere.
Yeah. To be fair, some of these mistakes, like sometimes they have like a half-point game, and AI says, "Oh, that's a massive mistake," drops 20%, but but this is not one of those. Now we did we did consult a very strong amateur on his opinions of the game and see what actually happened. So basically, all along, basically Kim Myounghoon, which is a white here, was judged to be basically have a decisive advantage, basically 100% his win rate as judged by AI. Park Junghwan as black was probably not that close to winning. He was basically at 0%, and he ended up just fighting this massive code here on the top left, and you see that black start playing these kind of moves, I mean, it's probably got a couple of points in it, but this kind of move looks like it's trying to get rid of code threats. It's just making itself really strong, and we'll see why that is. So Kim Myounghoon plays some more moves, and apparently connecting here was the fatal mistake. Now, but basically what's happened is, imagine if black throws in here on the top left hand corner. If black throws in, then black can start a code sequence to capture this white, right? It's code to capture just by throwing in here black. So white plays here, that prevents the throw in, because now even if white loses the code, white can connect and doesn't lose any this tail will be saved. So obviously white was playing this move to try and get rid of the possibility of a code here. But what white didn't realize, so what white didn't realize, or as our really strong pro friend mentioned, was that maybe white just forgot about it after playing all of those moves. He just forgot that black actually has a bigger move, which is this move. And what this move does, you can see here, starts a even bigger code.
Oh wow! It splits those two white sections at the top left.
Exactly. So this code obviously is much bigger than this code. So if you go back, give you a time machine and give you a choice again, why should probably get rid of the code here instead of getting rid of the code here?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And this is exactly where AI says it reversed the game. And basically the commentator just, the commentary that I've seen says Park Junghwan has been waiting for this moment basically the entire game that he was under. And he was under, he was like 0% for a lot of moves, like 100 moves or something. He was been waiting for this moment to activate this moment. And that's why you can see Black played moves here, and just get rid of code threads. And Park Junghwan ended up winning this code, I believe, and reversed the game. So that's why the reversal percentage was 100%. This was a crazy reversal by Park Junghwan.
That's actually really. I mean, yeah, it's obviously a mistake by White.
Yeah.
To nullify the wrong code, but it is. That sequence is quite tricky for an amateur. For me, I wouldn't say that it's a move that I would have seen. No, most definitely.
Right.
But I believe a professional probably should have seen that.
Yes. And remember we did consult this very strong amateur player whose advice was that probably pros probably should have seen it. But anyway, that was a massive reversal. But otherwise, I think Kim might be winning by more than 5 points before this happened.
Yes, I think he was ahead by maybe 5 points at that time.
Right. And
for the record, just for a bit more backstory, the GS Caltex Cup, it's an hour main time, and there's 1 60-second Byoyomi.
Right.
And both of these players were in their 60-second Byoyomi. Right. And that essentially means every move they have to make within 60 seconds.
Yep.
So for most pros, especially in Korea, where a lot of the games are around that length or even shorter, they can figure out a lot in that 60-second Byoyomi. And I think our strong amateur friend suggested that Kim Myounghoon probably saw that sequence already, because obviously that those stones had been there for quite some time before Black played move 241. But he just forgot about it when he nullified the wrong code.
Which is, I mean, totally possible, I guess, if you're under that kind of time pressure. So that's a theory. Obviously, we haven't read any interviews to see exactly what he says. But yeah, that's a massive reversal. What that means is that now Park Junghwan becomes the first semi-finalist. And I believe we'll see another one.
Yes, there was one more GS Caltex Cup game played today, but Kim Myounghoon is out. Park Junghwan is through to the semi-final. Not unexpected, I guess, but they're two very strong players. And the second semi-final was between Park Jinsol, and I think it was Wankyu.
Wankyu, that's right.
So Wankyu, we've mentioned him in previous podcasts. I think maybe it was his round 16 game actually that we mentioned him in, but he's a fairly young player, and he does have some pretty good results. I think mainly in youth tournaments.
Right.
But perhaps I would say that probably making the quarterfinal of the GS Caltex Cup maybe his best result so far in an open tournament. Right. But he's definitely someone who I see as on the rise. And
I wonder what year he was born in.
Yeah, I'll find it.
All right. While you find it, I'll just share the participants of they're still in play. Of course, we've got Jinseo still to play An Sung Jun in the other quarterfinal, and we got Park Ha Min and Byung Sang Il fighting out for the other spot in the semi-final. I try to see who are the big scalps that got already eliminated in the GS Caltex Cup. Like GS Caltex Cup, of course, was started as a 24-player tournament. So on this chart here, there's only 16 players.
16.
So the first rounds weren't basically listed. Oh, Shin Min Jun's already out, of course.
Yeah, so Shin Min Jun lost to Park Jinsol. I do remember that game. I think it was a half-point game.
Right. Might have
can't
been.
remember, but it was a very close game.
Yeah.
Kang Taek, he eliminated Lee Chang-ho in the round of
Right.
24. I think this was Lee Chang-ho's first time qualifying for the GX Caltex Cup in quite some time.
Right.
But he couldn't make it out of the round of 24.
Yeah.
Hyo Young-ho is also another sort of veteran, kind of a veteran player. He's not that old.
Yeah.
But yeah, no real notable names out. Where's Kim Ji-sok? Oh yeah, Kim Ji-sok. That's right. Cho Wankyu beat Kim Ji-sok.
Right. In
That's
2024.
what we discussed in the last podcast.
Correct.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
But anyway, I have found Cho Wankyu's age. He's 21.
Right. Okay.
So he was born in the same year as Zhu Haihong.
Yep.
And I think he's still improving. I think that he will eventually appear in a world major. I think he's good enough to eventually qualify for a world major.
Yep.
Maybe something like the Samsung Cup
Yep.
or something like that.
Yep.
I think that we'll be hearing more from him. I'm not sure what his ceiling is, but
Yeah.
he's definitely a capable player. Although,
Yeah.
as we should say, he didn't win his quarterfinal game in the JS Caltex Cup.
No, he lost to Park Jinsol. Yep.
Yeah. So
So okay, well, so at least two of the semi-finalists are determined. Park Jinsol.
yeah. Yeah,
and Park
the
Junghwan.
game. Yeah, so that game was yesterday, I believe,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to watch it because I was at work.
Yeah.
But I think it was a fairly convincing win
Right.
by Park Jinsol. And it was an expected win. Park Jinsol is a bit of a veteran.
Yep.
But yeah, Cho Wankyu did well to get to the quarterfinals, and
Yep.
good on him for making it that far, but also well done to Park Jinsol for making the semi-final.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Park Jinsol has won the JS Caltex Cup. I don't think he has.
No, I don't. I really don't think so.
Again, it's hard to. I'm not sure if this was heard earlier in the podcast because you had technical issues, but the KBA website has actually been down for a couple of weeks,
Right.
and it's hard to use it. You have to. The mobile version works, but it's not as easy to navigate.
Right.
Park Jinsol has not won the GS Caltex Cup before.
And just a reminder, Shin Jinseo has won the last 4.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will say that Park Jinsol did make the final in 2017
Right.
of the GS Caltex Cup. He made the quarterfinals in 2018, but now he's made the semifinals
Right.
here in 2022. So this is perhaps his second best GS Caltex Cup achievement so far.
Yep.
And who knows how far he can go. He'll have to play An Sung-joon or Shin Jinseo in the semi-final.
That's right.
I would say that one of those opponents is definitely more beatable than the other.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Shin Jinseo's chances of reaching the final is still pretty decent. 79% according to my simulation. So
Yes.
yeah.
And but they're the only two quarterfinals that have been played. The other two quarterfinals, one of them, Byun Sang-il versus Park Ham-in, will be played on Thursday, the 7th of that's a Thursday, the 7th of July.
Yep.
And Shin Jinseo An Sung-joon will be played on the 8th, the Friday.
Yep.
So hopefully we will have those results for the next week's podcast.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm tipping Byun Sang-il and Shin Jinseo to win.
Duh.
But but the other two players are both top 20 players
Yep.
in Korea.
Yeah.
And stranger things have happened.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, they probably have a chance of beating either of them. I mean, either of those games could spring a surprise, or even both. So let's see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see if Shin Jinseo can win it a 5th straight time, which would be definitely a record. I believe winning it 4 times straight is already a record because when I looked at records, the players have only won it twice in a row, right? Before Shin
Yeah, I
Jinseo
do
came
think
along.
that 4 times in a row has never been done before
Not even
Shin
3 times in a row has been done. So, and now we're talking about 5 times in a row this round. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that's the GS Caltex Cup, and the next topic is the Myungin. Myungin. So now this is the 45th Myungin, but I honestly don't remember. It the quite a bit of it. This tournament was restarted after some time, wasn't it?
Yes, in fact, so last year was the first time in the resurrected format.
Right.
Since the resurrection, it's been gone so long that Lee Se-do was actually the previous Myungin champion.
Right.
Can I find? Let's see. That was 2016. So it was a 5-year hiatus.
Right. And
before it was resurrected, and Shin Jinseo won the resurrected tournament. It was quite an impressive win because he actually lost his opening game,
right,
which meant that he had to win, I think, 6 games in a row to make the final.
Yeah.
Whereas Byun Sang-il only had to win 4 games because he never lost.
Yeah.
It's a double elimination tournament, so you can lose 1 game, but if you do lose a game, it makes it harder to get to the final.
And in this year, there were 16 players in the main comp. Two were
so they have sorry.
Two were the finalists from the last round.
Yeah, so they automatically qualify for the main tournament. Yeah.
And there were 2 wildcards, Shin Min-jun and Choi Jung.
Yes, but the wildcards are selected after all of the qualifiers have been played.
Right. And I believe Shin Min-jun was eliminated in the qualifiers, and so was Choi Jung.
Yes, they obviously were both eliminated in the qualifiers. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got wildcards.
Yep.
Shin Min-jun was eliminated by Woojin, I believe. Yes. And Choi Jung, she was eliminated.
It was by Sim Jaek.
No. Sim Jaek eliminated Kim Chae-young.
Right.
Choi Jung was eliminated by a Fordan.
Right.
Whose name I do not know in Hangul.
Yeah.
I will try and find it and then translate it. Okay.
Yep. While you're doing that,
so she was eliminated by Kim Ki-byung.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. He's not in the top 100.
Right. Okay. 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 Just sharing some interesting facts about the quarterfinals, because we already know who the 16 players are. We'll share the 12 quarterfinals. So 262 pros participated, and they play a total of 249 games in the quarterfinals to qualify for the tournament.
They actually played 250 games.
Right.
I think some of the games were walkovers. I think there were some games where a player didn't show up or something like that, but there were definitely 250 results.
Right. Okay. So and something that's interesting is that Kim Seong-gun at 49 is the oldest qualifier. Is he
Kim Seong-jun?
Yeah. Is he also called Blackie?
Is Kim Seong-jun Blackie? Really?
Yeah.
As in the one that runs that Go school with Diana.
Yeah, I believe so. That's I think so. Yeah. So I see if I can. Yeah, that team over there. He used to stream on Twitch. So together with Diana. So I believe that's Blackie.
Oh, I didn't know. Kim Seung-jun was Blackie.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was it. Now the next oldest
Wait,
qualifier.
I do want to mention one other thing. Kim Seung-jun is actually a world major semi-finalist.
Yes, I do remember his name popping up sometimes.
He may have been a finalist in the Dongyun Cup.
Right.
That shows you how old he is. The Dongyun Cup. Oh, he is Blackie. You're right. That's crazy.
Hey.
Yeah, but I do believe that he was a semi-finalist in the Dongyun Cup.
Right.
It's going to be almost impossible to confirm that. But just to as an example of how old he is.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't a semi-finalist in the Dongyun Cup.
Right.
Maybe it was Fujitsu Cup or something like that. But he has played in the Dongyun Cup.
Yeah.
He's played in it, and the Dongyun Cup was last held in 1998.
Right. Yeah.
And he actually played he played in the tournament in 1994.
Yeah.
So that's how old he is.
Right. Yeah.
He played in a world major 28 years ago.
Yeah. And just remember that Myungin is a 16-player tournament, so making it is quite tough to begin with. So yeah, so Kim at 49 still doing it. It's quite an achievement. And of course, he's the oldest, but there's a second oldest, which is An Cho-young at 43.
So An Cho-young.
Yeah.
I want to mention him as well. An Cho-young is also old enough that he played in the Dongyun Cup.
Right. Yeah.
He played in the last edition, the 1998 edition. He also is one of only 13 Koreans with 1,000 professional wins.
Oh wow, that's quite something.
I believe he reached number 1,000 last year. And I do want to make, on that note, one slight correction. Last week we mentioned that Kim Soo-jang was the 13th Korean to reach 1,000 professional wins.
Mm-hmm.
I did say that he was the 41st player in the world.
Right.
He's actually the 42nd player. There was a Japanese player from the Kansai
Yep.
who got 1,000 wins last year.
Yeah.
I'll try and find his name. Tetsuya Kiyonari.
Right.
He got 1,000 wins last year, and I did not know. I missed him.
Yep.
So my apologies.
But
Kim Soo-jang is actually the 42nd
Yep.
player to get 1,000 professional wins.
But the silver lining is Kim was very happy about the number 42. It's a meaning of life for him.
Oh dear. Anyway, so back to An Cho-young. He's featured in many world competitions. He's featured in the Fujitsu Cup, Dongyun Cup, Lily Cup, Samsung Cup, LG Cup,
right?
The Bailin Cup. Yeah, he's
been
like, to get 1,000 wins, you need to be good for a long time, and he certainly has been. I'm sure he's won some tournaments as well, but I'm afraid.
I believe back in those days, to play in an international tournament, you have to win. Like, if you win a domestic tournament, you'll be seeded. And I believe that's how An got a lot of the opportunities to play in international tournaments. And An's nickname, I believe, is Half Point Prince. So he wins a lot of games by half a point. So.
Yeah, actually, no, I can tell you how many titles he has.
Right.
He's won 3. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But he has won 3 because the KVA website says that he's won 3.
Right. Still a pretty good achievement. Yeah.
He may have actually won the KBS Cup.
Right.
Which is a big a big tournament. It's like the equivalent of the NHK Cup in Japan.
Yep.
That's probably his biggest
title.
Yeah.
But obviously still a good player, good enough to make the Myungin.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe Kim Eun-ji, which is pictured here, she almost made the tournament.
Yes, she was one game away
Yep.
from qualifying. She lost to Kang Seung-min.
Right, yeah. So that's a bit of a... It's very impressive because you almost made it.
Absolutely, very impressive.
But she's still very young, so still lots of room for her to improve. So let's look at the draw of the Myungin, which also came out. So we have in round 1 got Seo Hyun-jun versus Kang Seung-min.
Now this one is actually notable because I first heard of both Seo Hyun-jun and Kang Seung-min when they qualified for the Korea's Strongest League last year, the second Korea's Strongest League.
Yeah.
They were two of the lesser known players.
Yep.
In the Korea's Strongest League.
Yep.
But now they're both top 20 in Korea.
Yeah.
So they clearly have proven that making that league wasn't a fluke, that they were both on the rise.
Yep.
And they're still qualifying for major championships. So good on them.
100%.
Yeah.
And then we got Park Junghwan versus Cho Wankyu.
Oh look, there's Cho Wankyu again. I told you that this guy is one to watch.
Yeah.
He qualified for the Myungin as well.
Yeah.
I do remember he was, I think his qualifier was the last one to finish. He was the last qualifier to be determined.
Yeah.
And he only so his final game was against a 3-dan, but his semi-final in the qualifier, he beat Kim Myounghoon.
Right. So that's why we don't see Kim Myounghoon on the list.
That's exactly right. And also, I believe in the quarterfinal,
he
beat Park Jong-hoon of the championship winning Korean team, Hapcheon.
Right. Yep. Okay.
So those are some pretty big wins. Pretty big scalps.
Yep.
I will say he's facing up against Park Junghwan.
Yeah.
That's going to be an extremely difficult game for Cho Wankyu. But once again, it's a learning experience. And secondly, the Myungin is a double elimination.
Yep. So he could lose this one and still have a chance. And he might be very underrated at this point. But let's see. I think if he, the more games he plays, the more his the rating will reflect his true playing strength. Okay, and on to the next one is An Young-ho and Hon Woojin.
Wait, An Cho-young, that is.
An Cho-young. Okay, yeah, I must have typed the name wrong. An Cho-young.
I think you just typed the name wrong there.
Yeah. Okay. Hon Woojin. Yeah.
So Hon Woojin is, we've mentioned him before. He's I think he's the strongest player that didn't appear in the Korean Baduk League last season.
Right.
He's not an exactly young player, but he wasn't a young player when he turned pro either. He did. I think the last time we discussed him, he was in the semi-final of the Yongseong.
Right. Yeah.
He lost to Kang Dongyun, but he's clearly not only good at the fast format like the Yongseong, but can hold his own in long time formats. He's also a player to watch, even if he's a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
He will definitely feature in the Korean Baduk League in the upcoming season. And I'm keen to see how he goes. I mean, all of these players, there's not a single bad player in this Myungin. I really think,
no.
But but Hong Woojin is one that I'm along with Cho Wankyu are two that I'm particularly keen to follow.
Right. And then we got Byung Sang-il versus Won Sung-jin. So I guess my question for me is, can Won, get off his bad form? But look at the head-to-head, which has surprised me a little bit. Byung is like 7-0.
Well, I have 2 points to make here.
Yeah.
One, you mentioned Won Sung-jin's bad form.
Yeah.
The thing is, he qualified for the Myungin.
Right.
He wasn't given a spot. He had to qualify just like, the other 11 people. He actually won 4 games
Right.
to qualify. One of those games was against Park Hamin.
Yeah.
The other games, that was probably his most notable win. But still, he's no longer on a losing streak. He did win 4 games to qualify for this.
Right.
He also qualified for the Kuksu Mountains International Tournament.
Nice.
So in terms of bad form, it looks like he's corrected it at least somewhat.
Yes. Or basically when there's no prize money involved, he just can play his best.
That's a bit harsh. And the second point, wow, I didn't realize he was 0-7 against Byung-sang-il.
Yeah, that's something I didn't expect as well.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd like to try and confirm that, because that's 0-7 in games with Kifus, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. But still, it's unless
it's probably they
close.
probably haven't played many non-recorded games.
Yeah, so it's probably close to the truth, but probably isn't exactly.
Yeah, that is crazy, and you'd have to say that Byung-sang-il is going to be the favorite here, but
yeah,
who knows?
Who knows?
Stranger things have definitely happened.
Yes. So we've got Lee Ji-hoon versus Shin Min-jun next.
So the interesting thing here, Lee Ji-hoon and Shin Min-jun, they were the 2 players that qualified for the Asian Games team.
Yep.
Through those extensive qualifiers.
Yep.
All of the other players were given seeds, but they were the ones that had to go through, the gauntlet. Well, they didn't really go through the gauntlet because they were seeded into the final round.
Yeah.
But they still had to go through all of that round robin.
Sure.
And they were the 2 that made it through.
Yeah.
So now they're playing each other in the first round of the Myungin.
Yeah, so Shin Min-jun is a bit erratic sometimes, but yeah, let's see. Hopefully he'll pull through. And then next is Kim Ji-sok versus the oldest player in the field, Kim Seon-jun.
Yep, always good to see Kim Ji-sok
Your favorite?
in the tournament. He is my favorite player.
Yeah.
My favorite Korean player, that is.
Yeah.
He should beat Kim Seung-jun, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. And then we got Shin Jinseo versus Kim Sedong again, and so
now is that head-to-head say that Kim Se-dong has a 2-1 record against Shin Jinseo?
Well, according to games with Kifus, and unless it was messed up, but that's what it looks like.
That's probably correct, and it's probably it's almost certainly because Kim Se-dong beat like a 13-year-old Shin Jinseo or something like that.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's definitely something that Shin Jinseo will be looking to even out.
Yes.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind playing Kim Se-dong twice just to have an advantage.
Yeah.
But Shin Jinseo, look, I'm going to say that's if you had to pick a game, you have to pick Shin Jinseo in the first round.
I mean, it's.
I don't think. Remember last year he lost in the first round, but that was against Byung-sang-il.
Right. Yeah.
This year, I do not think that history will repeat.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Which is clearly underrated.
And so the final game is Sim Jae-ik versus Choi Jong.
Yeah.
Now, Sim Jae-ik is actually got he's got one of the best win rates for the calendar year so far. He's played 21 games and he has won 18 of them, apparently. So 18-3.
Wow.
Very impressive record for 2022. And he's playing Choi Jong.
Yeah.
One of the wild cards.
Yeah.
So he actually beat the number 4 woman in Korea, Kim Cheon, to qualify for the Myungin main tournament. But now he has to play the number 1 female in Korea, Choi Jong.
Yeah.
So keen to see how that one turns out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot closer than it. It says they're 95% Choi Jong's chances of winning. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that.
Yeah, I mean this is just the default number if you don't know the person's rating.
Zhao Dai, you've got your microphone off.
My microphone is. Oh. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep. Thanks, Gaza. It's not off for the people listening. It's just off for you for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking over you then.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah. So that's all. That's all good. And basically, yeah. So what I was saying is that Sim. Yeah. This rating is very very. It's just a default rating if you don't know the person's true rating. So
yes, So that's why it says 95 to 5. So that one, don't take that 95 to 5. It's definitely misleading. But most of the other ones are fairly accurate.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the chart for the winners bracket. So haven't put in the energy to draw it for the losers bracket yet. But this is what it looks like, the pairing. So yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, and so the first game will be on Monday. So the games will start. It will be Wonsong Jin versus Byun Sang-il.
Right.
First up on Monday.
Yep.
Not all of the first round games will be played by the next podcast.
Right.
I think there will only be 4 games. Only 4 of them will be played next week, but one of them will be Choi Jong's game.
Right.
So we should report on the results. The Myungin is one of the is perhaps the most prestigious tournament in Korea.
Right.
I think that's one of the reasons why it was resurrected. So it's kind of like the Meijin in Japan.
Yep.
So yeah, really prestigious tournament. It's definitely something we'll be reporting on. For the next few podcasts.
Yep, 100%. So let's do a look forward. Just do a preview of next week, to wrap things up. Gaza, do you have anything that you wanted to discuss before we look at the next week?
What? I'm not sure. Was there anything? I don't think anything major happened we didn't cover anything in Japan or China.
Well, there's basically nothing happening in China. Well, actually, now that you mentioned China, I do want to raise something because I think we might have talked about it, but the Chinese Yi League, so that's second division, was put on the calendar, and also it was supposed to take place at the same time as the Women's Yi League, and that's supposed to happen around the 10th of July, which is kind of 1 week after. But there were some rumors that the city in which it was supposed to be held, which is Wuxi, now have some COVID restrictions being put in place. So that might mean the Yi League gets delayed again. And now, just put it in the context, this is the year 2022. And they're talking about playing the 2021 Yi League in 2022.
And we're halfway through.
We're halfway through 2022. So, and still it may yet get delayed. Like, it would be kind of funny if it gets played in 2023. But let's see what happens.
So around the same time as the In Cup final.
Yeah. Oh wow. God knows. Maybe the In Cup final would never happen. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's hope not. Hope they do happen somehow. But let's if I'm not wrong, based on looking at the calendar, it looks like next week there's going to be some Nongshim Cup qualifiers in Korea.
Yes. So we already mentioned throughout the podcast that there's going to be JS Caltex Cup games, Weiqi Construction Cup games, and Myungin games.
Yep.
There's also going to be the Transatlantic League games.
Yep.
But other than that, yes, the big thing in Korea is that the Nongshim Cup qualifiers will start.
Yeah.
Now, in Korea, the Nongshim Cup team is determined by, firstly, the top-rated player
Yep.
is given an automatic spot. That's Shin Jinseo,
Yep.
and that is that's a very good system to have to put Shin Jinseo in the team,
Yep.
and not make him qualify, because he's proven that he brings it when it comes to Nongshim Cup. So
He's won 9 games in a row in the Nongshim
he's
Cup.
won 9 games in a row. I believe that for similar reasons, Lee Chang-ho was automatically selected for the Nongshim Cup.
Yep.
Basically, like the first 10 or 11 times.
Yeah.
And his record speaks for itself in Nongshim Cup.
Yeah.
He went 19 wins and 3 losses in the Nongshim Cup, Lee Chang-ho.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic. The next 3 spots for the Nongshim Cup go through qualifiers, are determined by qualifiers.
Right.
So players like Park Junghwan, Byun Sang-il, they have to qualify to make the team.
Yeah.
And then the final spot, remember there's 5 spots in the Nongshim Cup team. The final spot is a wild card selection.
Yeah.
So that'll be typically a high-rated player
Yep.
that didn't successfully navigate the qualifiers.
Yep.
So the last season, it was Won Song-jin
Yep.
who was selected
Yep.
as the wild card. The previous year, it was Kang Dongyun
Yep.
who was selected as the wild card. This year, obviously, the wild card will be selected after the qualifiers have finished. So the wild card is always the last player determined.
Yep.
I don't know exactly the format for the Nongshim Cup. I've seen the initial qualifying bracket, and there are a lot of players missing. A lot of the highly rated players are missing,
Right.
which makes me think that they're going to be appearing in a later round. So, the first section of the qualifiers has 243 players for 24 spots. Obviously, there are only 3 spots available in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
So obviously there's going to be a later round, and I have the feeling that some of the higher ranked players like Byun Sang-il, Park Junghwan, Kim Ji-sok will be seeded into a later round that hasn't been published yet.
Right.
But yeah, so the first round there's 243 players for 24 spots, so they'll have to win 3 or 4 games to make it to the next round. And yeah, like you said, that starts on Monday. So yeah, from the 4th to the 7th, from Monday to Thursday, that's just going to be the first round to get it down to 24 players.
Right.
It's not going to be the entire set of qualifiers. But I think it will be important to see who those final 24 players are, and more importantly, who joins them in the final round.
Right.
And how the final round is conducted. So far, it looks like that their qualifying system seems to be working, because Korea have won the last 2 Nongshim Cups, although admittedly that was because Shin Jinseo just went off both times, and I think he was the seed selection on both occasions. So maybe the qualifiers are irrelevant, and they just sort of relied on Shin Jinseo to do everything.
Wow. I mean, that kind of is true based on the last 2. So
I mean, if you do look at Korea's performance in the last Nongshim Cup, it was basically just Shin Jinseo Shin Jinseo and 4 Make-A-Wish kids, it seemed like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, give Won some credit. He did win against Shibano, but that's
I'm being entirely harsh here. Won Song-jin beat Shibano Torimaru.
Yeah.
And Park Junghwan beat Su Xiaowan.
Yeah.
Both Japanese players.
Yeah.
But Byun Sang-il, Shin Min-jun both laid a duck egg.
Yeah.
Both laid an egg.
Yeah.
And Shin Jinseo, he won 4 games on the trot, including against Miyu Ting,
and Koje
Yeah.
to,
So yeah.
to win it for Korea.
So Jinsol saved the day again, and it just to remind everyone that the last Nongshim Cup, the top 5 Korean player all made it onto the team. This is the first time it's ever happened. Top 5, in the Korean rankings, but it was probably one of their not one of their best performances. Put it this way.
Yeah, it really can be misleading, the Nongshim Cup, when you get down to who won and who didn't, because if you it's win and continue, so you can have four really bad players, but if your 5th player is super strong,
like Lee Chang,
you win the tournament. And that's what Lee Chang-ho did in the early years of the Nongshim Cup. Once he won, I think, 5 games in a row to win it for Korea. And on this occasion, as you said, it was the top 5 players for Korea. The 4 of them only won 2 games between them. So, I think that the Korean team, like Mokjin Sok, the Korean coach, is hoping that players other than Shin Jinseo can rack up a streak. But we shall see. One other thing to note is that the Nongshim Cup is conducted over 3 different months.
Right. Yes.
It's like an 8-month period. Between the first game and the last game. So although the top 5 in Korea were selected at the time, they weren't top 5 in Korea for the entire tournament.
That's right.
Entire Nongshim Cup. But hopefully, I do hope that Korea has a strong team. It will be. It would. I think we're very likely to see Byun Sang-il and Park Junghwan both in the team again. I'm not sure who the 4th and 5th players are going to be. There are a lot of people that can throw their hat in the ring. Shin Min-jun, Kim Myounghoon, even Won Song-jin, Kim Ji-sok, Kang Dongyun. Any of those players can make the final team.
So I'm looking forward to see, who gets selected, and of course, no word about how the Chinese selection is gonna happen. But Nongshim Cup is still fair way off, so let's see what happens.
Now, I would say that for the Japanese team, Japan are of course the other team in the Nongshim Cup. Iyama Yuta and Ichiriki Ryo will almost certainly be selected without having to qualify. Other than that, I don't know who would be selected. I hope that Su Shawan is selected again.
And Shibano
may have to qualify because he doesn't hold a title. He doesn't hold a major title. In Japan, so there's no reason why he would be favored. For the team, in my opinion. The other title holder is Seki Kataro. I'd be interested to see if he has to qualify for the team. I'm sure he would have to qualify for the team.
Right.
I can't say I'm sure, but I would be surprised if he was selected just on the basis of having a major title.
I really don't know how Japan Nongshim Cup selection works.
Like you said, it's very far away. Probably not worth discussing. In too much detail at the moment.
I think it just might work for prize money maybe. Now I do have an update. I checked the calendar again. 2021 Yi League and the Women's Yi League is now off the timetable, so it's no longer gonna happen here. That this line will probably get deleted. I don't know.
I just want to say, I'm really disappointed to hear that because I've been really interested in the Yi League. That's the second league, right, in China?
Second division, yes, basically,
Yes, and I get the impression that the 2022 Jia League won't begin until the 2021 Yi League has concluded. Is that correct?
You would assume so because they're still talking about relegations and promotions and all that
because apparently the 2 teams that lost the relegation playoffs in the 2021 Jia League are
are in the 2021 Yi League.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it seems like they still have to determine the final 2 teams to make the 2022 Jar League, and all of these delays is just delaying the Jar League. And never mind delaying the Jar League. I want to see. There are some players in the Yi League that I want to see play, like the Japanese team.
Yeah. Taiwan team.
The Taiwan team. Yeah, exactly. I want to see them play, and I'm sure they want to play as well.
Yeah.
So it is really disappointing to see that taken off the timetable again. This has to be at least the second delay.
Yeah.
That they've had. That's I have to say I'm really disappointed to hear that.
Yeah. Just to throw another spanner in the works, there's actually a Bing League, which is the 3rd division. No word yet on that. If the Yi League can't even happen, God knows what's going to happen to the 3rd division. So, let's see.
Also that's also really important as well, because I think you may have some European players.
That's right. Yeah,
in the Bing League.
Yeah.
And I have to say, for the European players playing, Chinese players is such invaluable experience. Not because I'm not saying that because I think that the European players are weak.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because they can't just keep playing against each other. There's like 9 European pros.
Yeah.
With that small a population of European pros, you just playing each other is just it's just not conducive to growth.
Yeah.
You want to diversify, and China I think they have the deepest talent for any division, and to play against Chinese pros, the Europeans is just invaluable experience. And it's really disappointing that their opportunity to play those sorts of players continues to be delayed.
Yeah.
I understand that COVID is messing everything up, but I do hope that there's a resolution to it soon.
Yeah.
Or that they come up with a compromise, like playing online.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully something will happen at some point. Of course, just to run out the next week preview, there's a couple of Kisei S leagues. There's a Meijin League game, and that's about it. And that's a wrap for the week.
Yeah, it's been a pretty busy week in Korea.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to be a busy week in Korea next week, because all the same tournaments will still be happening.
Yep.
So looking forward to that. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you, Gaza. We'll see you next time.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.